Donald Trump is having a disastrous Monday morning. This may be one of the worst days of his entire term, of both terms, in fact. He was just hit with catastrophic polling from CNN 24 hours before the critical November 4th elections, where Prop 50 in California to do a mid-decade redistricting there is on the ballot, where you have critical governor's races in Virginia and New Jersey are on the ballot there. Donald Trump just got this data from CNN. His disapproval rating right now is 63%. That's worse than either term based on the CNN polling. In other words, his polling right now is worse than it was when he left office following the January 6th insurrection. And it's not just the CNN poll, it's catastrophic polling across the board, across all demographics, across every single issue he's underwater in. Again, the TIP poll, the YouGov poll, the Economist poll. Donald Trump is indeed a historic president. He is the most historically unpopular president at this time in history. And all the Trump sycophants are trying to make sense of it. Cat Turd, a MAGA Republican influencer, is like, these polls are all fake, it's all fake. And again, 37% of Americans approve, 63% disapprove. Then when it comes to the generic ballot, if the midterms were held tomorrow based on the CNN poll, who would the American people want to control Congress? By a margin of 47 to 42%, the American people want Democrats to control Congress. Also, let's take a look at YouGov. As Owen Winter says, in our polling with YouGov, since the start of his second term, Trump's net approval has fallen 17 points among white Americans, 28 points among Hispanic Americans, and 38 points among Black Americans. So he's net negative 74 amongst Black Americans, net negative 37 among Hispanic Americans, and net negative 1 now amongst white Americans. So he's underwater right now with white Americans. Now you take a look at the TIP poll as well. There, Donald Trump's approval is only 40% there. And again, just look at other data and you'll see why he's so loathed and detested. Let's take a look at data regarding layoffs. 950,000 layoffs in the first 3 quarters of his presidency, okay? That's worse than any other year other than COVID and the Great Recession. Here's how Max Kennerly puts it. Congrats to everyone who put Republicans in charge for the economy. The first 3 quarters of 2025 already had more layoffs than any of the years in which Biden or Obama was president, except 2009 when Dems were still cleaning up the prior Republican mess. And you can see it in the chart right here. Layoffs are already higher than for any full year since 2020. Just look at 2025. You see it right there. And that's the data for 3 quarters. And also, we don't have a full data set because Donald Trump's government shutdown has made the Bureau of Labor Statistics not produce or distribute the data. And in any event, Donald Trump's using the government shutdown as an excuse not to release the critical economic data. But here's what we know. It's been harder than normal to get a grasp of the U.S. labor market lately, with several agencies that produce key economic data, including the Bureau of Labor Statistics, going dark during the government shutdown. But even before that, Donald Trump's efforts to downsize the U.S. government left holes in the sprawling federal statistical system. But private data sets have helped fill in some of the gaps. A report from the outplacement firm Challenger, Gray, and Christmas showed almost 950,000 U.S. job cuts this year through September. That's the highest year-to-date total since 2020, and that was before the heavy October run of layoff announcements. Excluding that first year of the COVID-19 pandemic, U.S. job cuts in the first 9 months have already surpassed full-year layoffs for every year since 2009. When something is almost the worst since the Great Recession, that's not very encouraging numbers. And the data set that I gave you, again, is just 3 quarters. And we've heard about all of those layoffs in October from Amazon and all these corporations that we've been reporting on here on the MeidasTouch network. Like this, page 1 of the Wall Street Journal today was this: U.S. employers are becoming more comfortable with layoffs. Just think about that term. U.S. companies are more comfortable. You know who's not more comfortable with layoffs? Hardworking Americans who want to work jobs, who are now being replaced by AI and these massive data centers. That's what the American people want to do. They want to work. They want to be able to afford their rent. They want to be able to own a home. They don't want the psychological torture of living paycheck to paycheck. They want health care. And Donald Trump and these MAGA Republicans are just ripping it away from them. Take a look at the Dallas Morning News. This was the front page there. Rural hospitals struggle to survive, and that's not unique to Dallas. We're seeing that across the country because what Trump called a big, beautiful bill is a disastrous bill, which we all knew would shut down rural hospitals, take away people's Medicaid, and gut people's health care. Also, here's what's on the front page. Black families to feel the brunt of the cuts. But you know who is thriving right now in this Trump presidency? Billionaires, and often foreign billionaires as well. You take, for example, the founder of a crypto exchange called Binance. The guy's name was CZ. A few years back, he pled guilty to serious money laundering charges in connection with having money funneled to like terrorist groups like Hamas and Al-Qaeda and other horrific end uses of this money. Well, we all know that Donald Trump pardoned this guy CZ who runs Binance, this crypto exchange. And then Donald Trump was asked on 60 Minutes, why'd you pardon this guy? Tell us about that. Don't you think that to the American people who are suffering right now, that blatant corruption is something that should not be taking place? That's not exactly the way Norah O'Donnell asked the question, but that's how I'll paraphrase. That's how the question should have been asked. But what Donald Trump's answer was, I don't know who that is. Who? CZ? I don't know the founder of Binance. My kids deal with that. Crypto's a good business, and my kids deal with all of that. But didn't Trump and all the MAGAs say that former President Biden didn't know who he was pardoning? Wasn't that their whole thing about auto pen this, auto pen that? And Donald Trump claims he doesn't know the name of the crypto billionaire that he just pardoned, who was involved in a money laundering scheme to which he pled guilty, to which $4 billion or so of restitution was owed to the United States government. It's money laundering with terroristic groups. You don't know who that person is, Donald? Seriously? So MAGA Mike Johnson, during one of those disastrous press conferences that he holds, was asked about it. And here's what MAGA Mike said when he was asked about it. Let's play this clip.
Questions. Manu, you get it first every time. This is not fair.
Last week, you came here to these mics, and you were very critical of Joe Biden's use of the auto pen, his pardon. You said you didn't even know who he was pardoning. But last night on 60 Minutes, President Trump admitted not knowing he pardoned a crypto billionaire who pleaded guilty to money laundering. Does that also concern you?
I don't know anything about that. I didn't see the interview. You have to ask the president about that. I'm not sure. Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask you something. Do you struggle with focus, productivity, or efficiency like I do sometimes? Maybe you have ADHD and are looking for tools to help you. Everyday Dose has a combination of coffee and nootropics and lion's mane that help with focus and mood improvement. Now, as you know, we have a very busy, even chaotic lifestyle here at the network. We're constantly on the go, and while I love my coffee, I'm looking for something even better. A simple but effective alternative that doesn't take even more time out of my day. Everyday Dose is my new coffee alternative. It tastes just like coffee, but it's enhanced with collagen, protein, nootropics, and functional mushrooms, and my gut and brain have never been happier. It takes just 30 seconds to make, and I never run out of ingredients that I need. Everyday Dose has been a savior for my body. It's not only an incredible coffee, it also has collagen and functional mushrooms that get rid of any negative side effects of coffee on my stomach. If normal coffee is like a flip phone, Everyday Dose is like a smartphone. It's coffee, and yes, it tastes like coffee, but it has all of these other functional benefits that gets you ready for 2026. Everyday Dose is coffee plus benefits. They combine high quality coffee with powerful ingredients like lion's mane and chaga, collagen, protein, and nootropics to fuel your brain, boost focus, and give you clean, sustained energy all day long. It tastes just like coffee without the downside, no crash, no jitters, just clean, sustained energy. Get 45% off your first subscription order of Coffee Plus. You'll also receive a starter kit with over $100 in free gifts by going to everydaydose.com/Meidas or entering Meidas at checkout. That's everydaydose.com/Meidas for 45% off your first order.
Now, Donald Trump, meanwhile, is what's he posting? He's trying to play the refs. You know, the Supreme Court's about to hear the case regarding Donald Trump's tariffs against the world. So yesterday, Donald Trump wrote, "Next week's case on tariffs is one of the most important in history." Then Donald Trump claims that there's virtually no inflation right now, that his tariffs have solved inflation. We all know that tariffs have caused massive inflation. Things are far worse off. And again, when you ask the American people, are you better off or are you worse off than you were last year? So better or worse than former President Biden. And we all know how the public treated Biden, right? It's like 64% say worse off this year. Why? Because prices are even things are less affordable right now than they were under former President Biden. The situation is much, much worse. Then Donald Trump goes in this post, "Our recent successful negotiation with China and many others put us in a strong position only because we had tariffs with which to negotiate fair and sustainable deals." What are you even talking about? What's the deal with China? Has anybody seen a written deal with signatures between the United States and China? The details that I've heard is that China's agreeing to export 2 million metric tons less of soybeans a year than it did under former President Biden. And then every year we have to go to China now to beg them to release their rare earth elements and to not put export controls on them, when under former President Biden, the rare earth elements were flowing freely into the United States. So that's this brilliant deal that tariffs got us, less soybeans, and we now have to beg China. Any analyst who objectively looks at what went down with China says Xi Jinping cleaned Donald Trump's clock. I mean, he made the United States look foolish and stupid, like a Trump bankrupted corporation. Oh, and then Donald Trump says, "I decided that I'm not going to go to court. I won't be there. I don't want to be a distraction before the United States Supreme Court." You're a distraction every day, Donald, to the United States of America. And again, we're hearing across the country right now, even former MAGA people, especially younger people as well, who are saying Donald Trump betrayed us, Donald Trump lied to us. I'll just give you an example right here. So this UFC fighter by the name of Bryce Mitchell, he was ultra MAGA during the election. He said he would take a bullet and that he would die for Donald Trump. He said that Trump was like his savior. And now he says that Trump is the biblical antichrist. He says this is a video that Bryce Mitchell made. And again, this is what we're seeing amongst kind of some Trump supporters and people who maybe weren't political, who voted for him. And again, we're seeing this reflected in the polls. Here's what Bryce has to say. Here, play this clip.
"Hey, I want to let y'all know I'm not with Donald Trump no more. I don't support him. I don't like him. I think he's a corrupted leader. And, it took me a while to come to that conclusion, but I finally am coming to it. I do not like the guy at all. The first thing for me was he didn't release the Epstein files. They're even acting like they didn't exist. And then, of course, they're sending Israel and Ukraine all of our tax dollars, just like the numbnuts before him did. Putting America last. And now he's blaming the beef farmers for the price of beef. Hey, I'm not biased, man. He talked a good game. He tricked me. I was fooled. I admit it. Okay, now let me tell you how bad I think this is, though. This is really this bad, guys. I want y'all, if you're a Christian, I want you to get into Revelation 13:3, and I want you to read that verse. Yeah, about the Antichrist, about the one who was fatally wounded in the head. Then he was miraculously healed, and the whole world marveled at him and said no man can make war with him. Yeah, I do think that Donald Trump is that beast of Revelation 13:3. Yeah, go read it. Go read it. There ain't another man that's ever walked the planet that fits Revelation 13:3. Then read the rest of the chapter, and it'll tell you the mark of the beast is coming in 42 months. Now, I'm not saying that I know that Donald Trump is this man of Revelation 13:3. I'm just saying he's the only one who could be right now. Go read Revelation 13. He's the only man that fits that description. Yeah, and I'm totally done with the dude. He's done to me. He's done. He's a goner. He's compromised. He's right up there with the rest of the pedophiles, man. And it sucks to say that because I supported him for a long time, but he's a good actor, and he had me fooled for a long, long time. God bless y'all, and thank you.
And just to contrast it to what Bryce said right around the election time, here's what Bryce said, just so you can see his change of opinions. Here, play this clip.
Satan and Donald Trump, he's prepared to do the Lord's work, and that's why I love Donald Trump. Even if he makes mistakes, I still support Donald Trump, and he don't make many mistakes. And when he does, he'll figure it out and he'll fix it, and I trust him. Gas is about to be cheap, brother. So God bless the country and God bless Donald Trump. He took a bullet for us, and I promise you, if the day comes, I will take a bullet for that man. I love that man with all my heart, and I would die fighting for a battle for that man.
Now, as Aaron Rupar writes, it's really time for journalists to start asking MAGA Mike Johnson meta questions during these pressers. Like this: Speaker Johnson, on 5 different occasions last week, you've said, "I haven't seen it," when asked about major news events with serious implications for public policy regarding Donald Trump. Do you ever read the news? And do you agree it's problematic for the Speaker of the House to be so woefully uninformed about major issues? I mean, you're the Speaker of the House. I mean, you're one of the people in line to hold the presidency. You don't follow these issues. You don't know what's going on. Well, I'll tell you what. The American people know what's going on. We know that Prop 50 is on the ballot in California tomorrow. We know that there are major governor races. You have Abigail Spanberger, the Democratic candidate, running in Virginia tomorrow. We've got in New Jersey, Mikey Sherrill, Democratic candidate, running for governor there. Big races across Mondani running in New York City mayoral race. We've got a lot of big elections. We'll be covering it all here on the MeidasTouch Network. Let me know what you think. Hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers.
Want to stay plugged in? Become a subscriber to our Substack at MeidasPlus.com. You'll get daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, ad-free episodes of our podcast, and more exclusive content only available at MeidasPlus.com.